Before the surgery, before the smile, someone has to find the child. In far-flung villages, up in the hills, across rivers, hours from the nearest hospital, many children with cleft conditions remain unseen. Some families are too poor to travel. Others don't know that help exists. Many are afraid to ask. And this is where the face hunters begin. They go villages to villages, asking quietly, "Do you know anyone with a cleft?" Some parents hesitate. They've heard hurtful things. They've kept their child hidden, not from shame, but from fear. One of these face hunters is Robin Haywood, a dedicated American who has been searching for cleft patients in remote parts of Panay. He is often joined by his wife Laura, offering calm and comfort to worried families. Robin was the best friend of the late Lawrence Larry Malley, founder of Medical Mission Matters Philippines. Together, they began this mission, traveling to mountains, rice paddies, and distant villages to find children in need. They've found hundreds of cleft patients across Panay, most of whom would never have made it to a hospital without their help. They are supported by the Sulu Garden Foundation, in partnership with Smile Train and Medical Mission Matters Philippines.
My name is Laura Lee Reaney, and I'm married to Robin, and we live in 𝗙𝗵𝗲 on a farm.
Well, I'm Robin Haywood, and now I'm 71, almost here. But I've been doing this since 2012, we figured, right? Sir Larry came up with the phrase face hunter back when he first started doing this on his own and looking for people to help. He had some Filipinas that he had encouraged to help him, and they were going out to find children, and he called them face hunters. They had to find a child with a face that needed help. He started using that term when he first founded Operation New Face. And then there was a breakup from that organization, and then he found Medical Mission Matters to continue under his program. And he continued with the term face hunter. What inspired me was, I met Larry, November 2013, 2012. I had gone to the immigration office to renew our tourist visas, and he was in there renewing his tourist visa. And Larry, being shy and bashful as he is, kind of like me, we started talking. He's telling me about this helping children, and a big red flags are waving for something. He's going to be asking for donation, and then he invites me to go. He's telling me about a mission that had just been done, and he's going up north, like tomorrow, on his motor, to meet with one of his friends that had helped with this previous mission. And everything's fine. He doesn't ask me for anything. It's just a really down-to-earth, honest person. And then, like a couple of days later, there's a mission in 𝗵𝗲𝗃. And he asked me if I wanted to come along. Now, I've never seen cleft children or pallets. I don't know anything about it. But I ride up with him to the mission. And so the first time I'm seeing these babies with this deformity. And he and I are talking, he's walking around, and he's hugging kids and high fives and hugging the moms. And he walks out, and I'm still with him, he starts walking out the back on the walkway. and I realize he's crying. This is a man that he's a year younger than me, 6 months. And he's a cop. He's a retired tough guy cop. He arrests bad guys. And he's down walking. He's crying. And so I walk out front. Now this still, when I think about this, it still sends chills up my spine. And so I walk out front, I go to the waiting shed, and I see 3 mothers coming down the walkway to go out and catch the bus. And they got a couple little kids and a couple babies. And I look at those mothers, and I could see, I could see the relief in their face. So I cried. Yeah, still do today because of those kids. And it was the next week that I went out to Dingley to go find my very first referral. And done less than 200 since, but I've done about 200 children get their life changed. But still, those mothers, I see it in my mind's eye, and those babies. The babies didn't know, but moms did. And so that's how I got into help with Sir Larry. My babies. Anyway, yeah. There's one boy in here I have a picture of from Alamo. Told where he's at. I go find him. He has a lip in the palate. And so we take him, and he was probably 4 years old maybe, to get his lip fixed. And so then a few months later, to get the palate done. Or maybe it's a year later. But his parents, when I went back to get the palate, they say no. The witch doctor says no. Because with the palate still needing to be fixed, they still get sick. They still get pneumonia, they have cough, and of course they can't talk, they can't eat right, so they're underweight. But the witch doctor, because the witch doctor makes money from mom and dad on their baby, on their sick baby. The witch doctors told them 7 years old. I heard this minimum 5 times. 7 years old. Because the witch doctor says so. So as far as I know, that boy's never been fixed. Because I went back a couple of years later, and he wasn't 7, they wouldn't let him. And one of his cousins up in the mountain, same thing. We did his cousin's lip, but they wouldn't do the palate. And there was one up in along by Victoria, way up in the mountain, way at the end, right at the end of the hill, the mountain plateau. Little boy, his father wouldn't let him go, have surgery. So I've run into that many times. It's really sad. And I truly believe, and I've told this to the mothers and dads when I meet them, we use Filipino plastic surgeons, ENT plastic surgeons. They are truly, I believe, the best doctors in the world. The best in the world. They're top of their field, and then Filipino doctors just care differently. They've got a different personality, and they love those children. And the surgeon, I can't think of it, and the anesthesiologist. I've met them many times, but I'm terrible with names. They're an excellent team. They've worked together for years. So what I learned, in the beginning I'd go out and I'd ask people along the side of the road, sorry store, if they knew of any children with cleft lip. Of course they say no. So then I learned to not ask people at the sorry store that's outside the 𝗙𝗶𝗀 And that 4-year-old child never comes out. He's never been to the sorry store. They keep him inside. So I ended up just getting a feel for riding along a little dirt back road. There's a baby in there. It happened up in Rojas City. Picture here. Larry's full with little kids. I'm riding down this road and look at this barangay down there. I'm going, yes. I ride in, and I think there was 4 kids in there. 4 or 5. We got all those helped. After a while, I get a feel for it. When I first started this, I didn't know anything about cleft lip or palate. When I went to the first mission, and you see that, it's quite a visual impact. Travel with a cleft palate or a bilateral lip. But then, after working with them for a little bit, I see him out of the corner of my eye. I'm riding down the road. I go, whoa, Cleft left. I mean, just spin my motor around and go chase it down.
Because the officers and soldiers of the 61st Infantry are often in the mountains to maintain their military presence. They are very familiar with all the mountain villages. The Army contributes significantly in finding these children in hard-to-reach villages.
We provide transportation dun sa mga pasyente na walang means of transportation. Nakikipag-coordinate tayo sa mga local government units. Tinatawag natin yung mga LGUs to provide additional transportation and other necessary assistance. Tayo na kumukontak sa mga local chief executives or other government agencies na sa tingin natin ay makakatulong. At the same time, sa ating information dissemination, nagkakandak tayo ng mga leaflets sa ating Facebook page. Nagpo-post tayo ng information about sa 𝗙𝗵𝗱𝗶𝗀𝗏 medical mission. And kung saan sila mag-register, saan sila mag-consolidate, para doon natin sila pupuntahan at para maihatid din sa ospital. And at the same time, pagkatapos naman sila ma-operahan na, yung pabalik sa kanilang mga kanya-kanyang bahay.
Looking for patients is the most important part of the mission. We go to their barangay captains, barangay health workers. We bring them to the parents so that we can get their approval, respect, and ultimately, we convince the parents that their children will have their life-changing surgeries in our missions.
One thing about this that I've always thought of is, Larry always says we're changing one life at a time. We're changing a baby's life forever. And me, having been a single parent, and or parent after that, it's not one. We're helping one 2-year-old, 6-month-old, 8-year-old, doesn't matter. We're changing that baby's life. But I think most people hadn't thought of it, but you're changing the life of the whole family. Because the moms, in many cases, the family members blame the mother. You know, it's not the mother's fault, but they blame the mother, make fun of the mother, make fun of the baby. They don't accept them in the family. Too many occasions, they're actually treated very, very poor from their own family members. So, or even if they're being loved by the family, it doesn't matter. You're changing that one baby's life, but you're affecting mom and dad. And they probably got 2 or 3 brothers. And you got cousins, and you got uncles and aunts and grandparents. You probably affected at least 20 lives. Everybody. You don't affect one life. You affect dozens, if not hundreds. And that's something that always still gets to me.
Photos speak louder than words. Children who once hid their faces, now smiling, eating, and playing. They don't work in operating rooms, but their journey is where healing begins. They find those who've been waiting. They offer truth where fear has lived. And they remind every parent, your child is worth it. They don't just look for clefts. They look for courage, for hope. They are the face hunters, and they never stop looking. You don't have to walk through mountains to help a child smile again. Support the face hunters. With Sulu Garden Foundation, your donation brings life-changing surgery to children in need. Be a face hunter in your own way. Donate, share, speak up, because hope begins with you.